Hello, listeners, and welcome back to season 3 of the Energetics Podcast. I am your host, Kara Bunde-Dunn, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience with the GLP-1 weight loss shots. I happen to be taking trizepatide, which is, I think, the generic Wegovy, so not Ozempic, but I want to talk about it a little bit. And I want to talk about how it's been a really deep and profound spiritual experience for me. It has not been the easy way out, and I'm going to dig into all of it. And so, if this sounds a little far fetched to you to believe that healing can happen and self love and self acceptance and vulnerability can happen on a medication like this, I am ready to dig in with you all about it. So, I less 2 years ago at this time, I was in the corporate world still traveling on an airplane. In fact, in this month in particular, February of 2023, that would be, I was um, only home 4 days the whole month. I literally lived in the United Lounge. Like, you could tell where I was in the world by if I was in the Denver or Chicago United Lounge, hanging out, having dinner, having a glass of champagne, whatever it might be, coming back from road trips and work and being on the road all the time as a chief sales officer. And I have to say, I was really happy with the majority of my life. I was working a lot, but I was really happy. Like, I was happy in my marriage. I was happy with being a mama. I was doing well in my career. I really had balance, quite a lot of balance, generally speaking. But I always allowed my health to be the one thing that I didn't have to focus on because I was focusing on everything else. Now, I have to say, for some of you, it may not be your health. It might be something different. But it's like whatever the one thing is we're resisting the most is probably the thing that has the most healing properties available for us. So that might mean, gosh, I'm doing great in all parts of my life, but I cannot seem to kick certain medications, or I can't seem to let go of needing to shop. I got to always have something in my Amazon cart, or smoking cigarettes, or drinking more than you think is for your overall well-being. You're like, that's just the one thing I let myself have. I let myself have a glass of wine every night. Leave me alone. Whatever that is for you, there's learning available inside of it. And for me, it was my weight. My spiritual health was fantastic. My soul expansion was amazing, but my physical health was just the thing I didn't have the time to focus on. But of course, what we resist persists, and what we resist has the most magical lessons available to us for it. So, I asked my guides at that time. I was the heaviest I had been in a long, long time, other than pregnancy weight. And I really wanted to go on the weight loss shots. I thought it would help me a lot. And I get communication with my guides in the form of stoplights. So they'll like literally flash me lights, red lights, yellow lights, green lights. And it's just their quick way of giving me a download or guidance of red light, no, not the right time, and maybe not ever. Yellow light, it's probably going to be something you do, just not right now. It's a timing issue, whether the universe is preparing something for me or whatever that might be. Or green light, yeah, go hit it, go for it, Kara. Like, get on the freeway and hit the gas pedal. It's time to go. So of course, I like connected with my guides. I'm a medium. It's my job to like check in with them, see what they say. And I go, okay, I'm ready to do the weight loss shots. I think it's the right time. I need some help with my health. I need a little bit of motivation. I need some assistance. And I'm closing my eyes. I'm tuning in. I'm connecting in with my guides. And they give me a red light. And I was like, wait, what? I trust the guidance that I get. That is something I am incredibly good at, is aligning to the intuitive guidance I receive and using it and trusting it. So I was like, well, dang, that sucks. And my guide said, we want you to spend the next year healing. And as much as you're willing to heal is as much as you're going to expand beyond where you're at right now, spiritually, financially, all the things. And so I was like, oh, well, dang it. I really wanted in my mind what I believed to be an easy way out. I was like, oh, and then I'll just do this and then my health will be great. Perfect. And that isn't what happened for me. So I spent a good majority of that year even a little bit more into just this last summer. So I would say it was about 12 to 18 months of looking out for my health. So I met with my doctor, did lab work every 3 months, monitored my metrics. I focused on water and protein, and I moved my body, lots of walking. And the scale moved a little bit. Let's call it a pound a month. I think in that course of that entire journey, I lost like 13 pounds on my own. So was not a Speedy Gonzalez approach to my weight loss. And I was very proud of myself. And I thought, okay, if this is the weight that you're going to be, you are going to love the shit out of this weight and this body and this gift that you have. My dad has polio. He has always had one leg that's smaller than the other. He's never been able to walk. He walks, but like with a limp, and he uses a wheelchair now. And I think about that often, and I think, am I grateful for exactly where I am and what I can do today? Or am I wishing my life was different, my body was different, something about me was significantly different? And I really took that to heart. And I would put my hands on my booty and I would say, I love you. And I put my hands on my belly and I would say, this space in my body also carries my womb. And I birthed an amazing kiddo out of this womb. And I'm so grateful for this tummy, this leftover residue of that beautiful baby that was once inside of me. And I really just spent time honoring my body as a temple in mind, body, spirit, soul, all of it, just allowing myself to be grateful for what is. And I think that when I did that, I felt things shift truly. And I mean this. Like, I really started taking care of myself and loving myself. And it was beautiful. And I thought, okay, this is it. Like, I'm not meant to be on the weight loss shots. This is meant to be my journey. And however my physical body performs, I'm going to be grateful for it and I'm going to honor it. I'm not going to be so hard on myself about it. I have PCOS. I got a whole bunch of things that don't function real great for me. The slow metabolism. I mean, you name it. But I also have a lot of beautiful things that work fantastically well. I have low blood pressure thanks to my mom. I was otherwise a very healthy person other than the number on the scale, as the doctors would say. And so that went on for like about a year and a half. And then last summer, it was July. I was up at the lakes of Minnesota, spending some time with my guides, meditating, looking out at the beautiful water. And I just checked back in with them. I literally never brought it up again for like almost 18 months. Never brought it up again. I was like, this is just not something that is soul aligned for me. And I said, I've been doing really well. The scale's moving, but just really slow. And I am really grateful for for all that I have learned in the last 18 months about my physical body. But any chance it's a better time for me? Like, is it available to me now? And I just felt like I wanted to ask again. And they literally were like, green light, you're ready. You're ready. You did the work. You did the prep work. And you're ready to have this weight loss shot now support you in your personal journey. And I was like, wait, what are you saying? And I asked again, and then I asked again. I was like, are you telling me it's now soul aligned for me to do the weight loss shots? Like, it's allowed? I can do it? Is that what you're telling me? And they're like, yes, jazz hands. And I'm like, well, freaking hallelujah. Let's go. So of course I was like, oh, boom, my weight's just going to drop off now because I did all the prep work. I've done all the mind work, mindset work. I've loved myself. I feel safe in my body to release things. Like, I feel so good. Like, I'm totally ready. So it was August of this last year of 2024. And I started the weight loss shots, and I did a lot of research around which ones, why I chose the trizepatide instead of the semaglutide, which is just better for me with my hormone balancing and all the other things I had going on. And I really did get this feeling like things were going to be easier. Like, oh, yeah, now I got the easy way out. Let's do this thing. And I think there is a very common misconception for people that do not have weight as a barrier or something that they carry. They carry different burdens, but weight isn't one of them. if you are a naturally thin person, it's super easy for you to judge someone and say, you're taking the easy way out. You just eat less, care less. You got to care more, eat less. It's calories in, calories out. I don't understand why this is so hard. Just to take care of yourself. And typically, what we don't struggle with, we have a hard time having grace for. But yet, the things we struggle with, we want people to have grace and compassion for us. And I will say right now, I am boldly going to say GLP-1 weight loss shots are not the easy way out. They are not. And if you do the spiritual work and the expansion work while you have a tool like a weight loss shot, everything can shift for you. But it is not the easy way out. Um, and so I started those shots and I thought, okay, here we go. I'm so excited. This is going to, instead of a pound a month, it's going to be like, a pound every other day. I'm going to lose 3-4 pounds a week. Let's go. And the scale didn't move. And the scale didn't move. And the scale didn't move. And of course, I checked in with my guides and I was like, you said that this was aligned for me, but it's not having any physical impact on me. What do I do? And they're like, stay the course. This is not a quick fix, Kara. You're not on a journey to just wipe away all the learning. This is a lifelong journey for you of loving and expanding into all parts of yourself, your mind, your body, and your soul. And so I kept going. And it was about 6 weeks when I did that check-in. And they said, just trust the process. Keep taking the shots and keep loving on yourself and keep discovering more layers of who you are. And literally, I had not lost a single pound in 6 weeks. And that's not common. Most people that are on these shots have some really quick results. And I thought that was a pretty profound thing that happened for me, that it didn't just fall off in that way. And then things started to happen slowly. And it still has been a very slow journey for me. I have weeks where I don't lose any weight, weeks where I lose a couple of pounds, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, no pounds, back and forth it goes. And I have averaged out about a pound to a pound and a half a week, which is so great. And I am monitoring my water intake. I'm monitoring my protein. Other than this dang cold weather, I'm pretty good about moving my body. I've been doing yoga now because I don't want to go outside, but normally I like to go outside and go for a walk. I'm going to start doing my weight training again. But it has been a really slow and steady experience, and things really shifted for me. So the one thing that this tool really did for me was remove some of the chaos that was in my brain that I was fighting against. And I have a lot of really strong mindset tools. I do EFT tapping on myself. I have, hypnosis tools I use on myself. Like, I've got a lot of mindset tools from my corporate world and my spiritual world mixed together. I have a lot of tools. So it isn't that I don't have tools to learn the power of your mind and how to use your mind for good, or it can be the opposite. But what I had not realized was how much food noise that I dealt with inside of my brain until it went away. And I think this is true for like stress, for example. Here's a comparison. If you carry a lot of stress in your body, and then you, like, let's say a really stressful job, and then you leave that job and then the stress relieves itself, you go, oh my God, I feel so much better. I had no idea how much stress I was under, because it was your normal. It was how you lived. And I did not understand that the way my brain processed food and the noise around food, it has been with me my whole life. I had a pretty significant eating disorder in high school. I would only eat 700 calories, work out 2 to 3 hours a day. I mean, in my high school yearbook, my quote, you can quote, follow your dreams, live your best life, whatever it is. My quote was fat free. Legit. That was my quote in my high school yearbook. I mean, come on. I could recite the nutrition facts of everything. A Big Mac, didn't matter. Whatever it was, I had it on lock. I knew it. And so I always was very conscientious of my weight. And then the opposite happened, where I was like, okay, I'm happy, I'm married, I'm not out on the town looking for partners, like, and it's just like the weight just kept coming on and coming on and coming on and coming on. So it's like either I cared way too much or I didn't care enough, was really where I was at, one or the other. And so um, I had a lot of noise. And I was explaining this to a really good friend just recently, a few weeks ago, and everything clicked for me. So I had said to her, I said, the thing that's the coolest about being on these weight loss shots is I don't have the same level of food noise as I used to. She's like, what do you mean by this? And she is a naturally thin person. She works out a lot. I mean, she gained some weight when she had her babies, lost that weight. But I said, well, for example, like I'll get up in the morning and I'll be like, drink a glass of water. It's so good for you. Drink a glass of water. Okay, good. Yes. Okay. What are you gonna have for breakfast? Are you gonna have protein? Oh, I don't really want protein, but I know I need protein. Okay, I'm gonna have some protein. Okay, well, then it's like, what am I gonna have for lunch? I'm gonna have like a cottage cheese bowl. I'm gonna have this. Like, oh my God, that's a really good choice. Good job, Carrie. Yeah, that's a really good choice. And then what? Oh my gosh, maybe I could have a few chips because I was like really good and I had my protein. And then I'll have some chips. And then it was literally this kind of like chaotic chatter in the background that I would have to push to the back of my brain and really numb that noise out. And she's like, how often did you have that going on? I was like, all day long. Like I would literally push the noise to the back. Like, and I could meditate and have that not be true, or watch a show and zone out and not have that chatter going on. But my normal everyday chatter, we all have chatter that's in our brain, was often about what I was eating, not eating, getting to eat, not getting to eat. Don't eat that. That's not good for you. You're not having a donut today. Don't eat it. Good job. You didn't have a donut. Oh my God, good job. Like literally that fast and that chaotic was what the noise was in my brain. She's like, that must be exhausting. And I said, well, I didn't realize how exhausting it was until the noise was gone. And I won't say that it's gone, but it is like from 100%, Mach 10 volume down to like maybe a 5 or 10% here or there. Like, what am I going to eat? Like, you know what? I'm actually not hungry. So I guess I'm good. So like I still have those triggers, and I have stress triggers, tired triggers. I still have the triggers. It's just what I believe this drug has done for me is give me what I would call a sacred pause, like an opportunity for me to pause and reflect and decide if that's a choice I want to make, instead of like just giving in to the chatter and the chaos going on in my brain. And that was something that I realized through my conversation with my friend, that not everybody has that. And so that's probably one of the most powerful things that has come, is like in that lessening of the noise, I have more space to allow other things to come in. Okay, this is also true on anything we release. When we let go of a limiting belief, a low vibrational thought, whatever it is, when we let go of things that are not high vibe, things that are really not for our highest and best good, when you release something, it then creates an opening. And in that opening, you get to replace that time, that space, that thought with something else. And that has been one of the freaking coolest things about this journey, is it has created even more space for me to heal, to expand my spiritual gifts, to expand my intuitive listening languages, and the way in which spirit drops in wisdom to me. And it has been so incredible. The amount of healing that I've done, it really deep healing work of trauma, a lot of trauma, wounds, deep wounds from miscarriages, from previous choices in past relationships, like so many things, how hard I am on myself, how high of expectations I carry for myself for so many parts of me. It has given me time in my brain to replace it with other things. And that has been also a very life-changing thing. Like, oh, instead of having to really bury the burden of this food noise, I now have space to think about something else. So it's really a freeing thing to have this expansion available to me. And so what's dropped in is a lot of self-love, and when we go through physical changes, for example, it is so critical that we also do the inner work with it. So let's say you're trying to get rid of a bad habit, something that you know isn't for your highest and best good, and you want to get rid of it. It's so important that you're loving yourself through it, because I can tell you from many, many years of diets and my eating disorder and so many painful things related to my weight, you cannot hate yourself into successful change. You can temporarily do it as a motivator, but it will not stick. And it is true with anything. If you are going to hate yourself to the change will not last because you did not embody it on a cellular level. So let's say you're like, I am done with shopping and spending money that I don't have. I am done running up credit card debt. And then while you're making change and while you're working on not putting stuff in your Amazon cart or not shopping and buying things you don't need or going up and down the aisles and putting stuff in your cart, while you're working on that change, if your mind tells you things like, gosh, Gary, you're so dumb. I can't believe you can't get over this. Like, for real, you don't have the money for this anyway. What are you doing? Get your shit together. Like, what? Come on. You're better than this. What is wrong with you? Da, 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 da. If that is the inner work that you're doing while you're making a significant change in your life, I believe you're doing it all wrong. Truly, you are doing it all wrong. So create a inner work dialogue that embraces yourself with compassion, with love, with kindness. And what I did before I went on these weight loss shots, part of my healing journey was to learn how to have grace and compassion and love for every season of my life, and to recognize that I do not need external validation around how I look. Those were the big healing things that I did. And a big part of my weight was very associated with not wanting or wanting attention. So when I was quite skinny, it was because I was like, wanting all this attention. I wanted people to comment on the way I looked, and I wanted people to catcall and whistle while I walked down the street. And as the weight came on, I didn't. I was like, no, I don't want this attention. I don't want anybody to do that. Like, I don't. And I was just a really unhealthy way to cope with a deeper issue I needed to resolve and deal with. But it is so important to give yourself love and compassion. So I literally told my 16-year-old self, you're so beautiful. And you did the very best you could at that season of your life. You chose what you chose because it helped you feel safe, and it helped you feel in control, and it helped you feel like you could handle what was coming because you had this other thing that you could control. Or when the weight poured on through different seasons of my life, I literally told that version of myself, that 35 or 40-year-old version of myself, Kara, you did the very best that you could. And the weight that you carried was a blanket of safety and security. And it was what helped you feel safe in your body. And that's okay. And I love you. And you are all right. And you were so beautifully made. And that is the tool that you used at the time. And I thank you, my younger version self, for using a tool that was available to you. And now I have tools available to me that give me a different level of love and compassion and care for myself. And so it has been such a powerful thing for me to love my past versions of myself, and then hold space for myself to open up the magic of my spiritual path and what is available to me. And I really truly believe it's this intersection of this interconnectedness, this intersection between science and spirit, and the science and the tools that are available, and my spiritual path. And so for me, this GLP-1 weight loss shot has truly, truly been a partnership between science and my inner work and allowing myself to be a temple inside and out. And I think a lot of people think like, well, if you're so spiritual, why can't you just have your guides help you? Why can't you just like tap in and channel? Like why use a weight loss shot? And are you going to get off of it? How fast are you going to get off of it? When are you going to get off of it? And I was like, I don't know. It might be something I'm on my whole life. And I'm just going to trust the process, and I'll trust that I'll know what the right thing is to do as this evolves, as I continue on this journey. And I would never shame somebody for using depression medication or cholesterol medicine or diabetes medicine. If you have type 1 diabetes and you take insulin shots, you wouldn't say like, get yourself to a healthy place and then don't use it anymore. You would say like, oh, I'm really glad that tool helps you. And I use it for as long as you need to use it. And I think we get so judgy about that, especially like my friends in the spiritual world that do a lot of plant medicine, that do a lot of holistic healing, things like that. They're like, okay, yeah, but you're not going to be on it forever, are you? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I am trusting the guidance that I get. And I'm trusting that the way that my body operates needs some 3D human support that it just didn't have before. And so that has been such a healing journey too, to not judge myself. I know a lot of people that are on these shots and they do not tell anyone. It's like the secret that they're going to take to the grave. And a lot of people think, oh, if you're on the shot, you're going to be like 100 pounds. You're going to be like so freaking skinny. You're going to be like tiny. And that is true for some people. It has just been a very slow journey for me. And I'm okay with that. Like, I am so grateful for it. I'm so honored for the tool. I'm so happy that it's helping me. So as you make decisions for your own health and your own well-being and what's right for you, I really just want you to trust your own inner guidance. Everybody will have an opinion. And now that I'm a little thinner than I was, people are like, "Oh my God, Kara, what are you doing? You look so great." It's always complimenting or commenting about the way that I look. And I have to say, like, great, thank you. Like, I've been on some weight loss shots. It's helping a lot. And honestly, like, I just feel so good in my body. I feel so safe and good in my body. But I always think like the way somebody looks is the least interesting thing about them. So if you're constantly commenting on the way people look, like, oh my God, your makeup looks so pretty today. Oh, I love your hair today. Find a different freaking thing to compliment somebody about. Like if you notice that they've lost some weight and they also seem to be like putting their shoulders back, standing a little prouder, they seem to have more confidence than they had before, compliment them on the energy shift. That's way cooler, by the way, way cooler. Instead say like, oh my gosh, you seem really happy. You seem like you got an extra pep in your step, a little bounce in your step. Like, I love that for you. Like, so great. So find something other than the way people look to talk about behind their backs and to their face, by the way. I just think like instead, why not comment about their energy? So that's my little tip of the day for you all. So as I close out on this particular topic, it's a journey. I'm sure I'll do another episode or two about it as I continue going. But for me, I just really cared about being vulnerable, about being open about this journey and about the tool and what it's doing to help me. And it really, truly has nothing to do with the number on the scale. And it's what my body's able to do more easily as it releases weight. And I truly feel myself healing and releasing stored trauma as the weight falls off. Like as the weight releases, like as I release and heal, the weight releases as well. They're directly correlated for me. So I just encourage you just to give yourself some love and some compassion and listen to your intuition. And you might be thinking right now, like, well, Kara, that's easy. You're a medium. Like you just talk to your guides all the time. Like you get all these downloads, like you get intuition all the time. Like that's harder for me. So if you are listening to this episode and you want to activate your intuition, your inner voice, the wisdom within you, and you want that to have a stronger presence in your life, one of the most powerful things that you can do is learn what your primary, your core intuitive listening language is. So, learning how to connect with your intuition, connect with your guides, it is a skill or a language just like anything else. And I have created this super cool tool. It's called Talk to Your Guides. It's an activation guide. It's 20 pages long. There's a little bit more information here on the exit info that I'll clip on the end of this episode. It'll talk about it more, but you can get it on the resources page of my website. Follow me on Instagram. It's linked there in my bio, but it's a free guide. It's 20 pages and it really helps you learn how to talk to your guides, like what you need to be doing to make it all work. It has meditations, journal prompts, information. It's like a little ebook. And it is my gift to you and my thank you for you listening to this podcast episode. So thank you all for tuning in. I would love to hear if you are on a journey to release something or let go of a habit that doesn't serve you. Drop it in the comments. DM me, comment in my Instagram, send me an email. I would love to hear your journey and what you're discovering and learning about yourself in the process. Until next time, friends, talk to you soon.